Greetings humanoids, we are here today in Valheim taking a look at how we can stop enemy raids from attacking our base. Before we jump into that, we're going to quickly cover some basics about raids. Enemy raids are random spawn events that will attack a base you are currently at, with enemies that should be challenging for you based upon your stage in the game. In order for the game to proc an enemy raid at your base, you must be within the proximity of 3 items that the game deems raidable. These items are the campfire, the bonfire, the hearth, the portal, or the ward on the miscellaneous tab. On the crafting tab, it will include the workbench, the stone cutter, the artisan table, forge, smelter, blast furnace, kiln, windmill, spinning wheel, and fermenter. Nothing on the building tab is considered a raidable item. And under the furniture tab, both of the beds, the brazier, and surprisingly all the torches are considered raidable items. That means if you're within the proximity of 3 of these items in any combination, you can be raided. You can see here that I have 2 campfires on the ground, and if I type in the admin command to spawn a random raid on myself, nothing will happen. You can see on my map that no raid has spawned. If I place down a 3rd campfire and do the same command, you can see that I'm now being raided. So the next thing that's important to know is what is considered close enough proximity to spawn a raid. You can see here that I have 2 campfires at the edge of these beams, and I have tested this out and laid it out. And you can be raided if you have 3 items within 40 meters of each other. You can see right here that if we place down a campfire within my little marker beam here, and we try to begin a raid, it will work, and we are now being raided. However, if I place the campfire around 42 meters away past my little marker here, and try to begin an event, nothing will happen. So you need to have 3 items within approximately 40 meters of each other in order to begin one of these raid events. This means that with some strategic placement, you could get up to 16 comfort in a little AFK shack or comfort shack without the risk of being raided. And this is assuming that you just place a portal over 40 meters away from here. Or you could go with 14 comfort, dump the bed, and then put a portal here, and have quick and easy access without having the risk of being raided. Now on to blocking raids. Just like regular enemy spawns, mobs cannot spawn inside of your workbenches even when they're part of a raid. So if you place out enough workbenches, you can stop them from spawning near your base. Now I set out this very elaborate section of iron beams, and I took them out pretty far away from the center point where I was going to attempt to raid, and you can see that it spans a very, very large area. Now I ran a lot of tests, and this is not perfect because it's very difficult to have workbenches cover every square footage here, but it seems that if you are roughly 160 meters spread out in workbenches from your base, that mobs will not spawn. Any closer than 160 meters not being covered, and a raid will successfully spawn around your base. Even if you manage to set this up and successfully do it like I have here, you will still get the message that you're being raided and the radius telling you where you're being raided at. But I have sat here until raid has ended and not had any mobs come at me if I was standing at the center point when the raid began. Now if I was to go stand at one of the outer workbenches and then begin the raid, mobs will indeed spawn on me, which leads me to believe that it is anything within 160 meters. This is very complicated to set up and difficult to do, and requires a lot of materials to get the workbenches set up correctly, which means this is not exactly practical to use. But if you are interested in protecting some pristine building you've built and keeping yourself from being raided at all costs, you need to span out 160 meters worth of workbenches from the outer edge of your base. Since you're most likely building your base with a lot of items that the game considers raidable, odds are that there's no one point that you'd have to go 160 meters from, and you just have to cover from the outer perimeter of your base entirely, which can make this very tedious to do. But I have discovered that you can be successful blocking enemy raids from happening entirely, but it takes a lot of work. Another alternative to stopping enemy raids from happening, which might be slightly easier for you, is to workbench an entire island. When placed right, you can stop an entire island from spawning, and obviously if the island is covered in workbenches, you don't have to go the 160 meters from the perimeter, since monsters can't spawn in water either, and your island will successfully prevent raids provided you have workbenches placed correctly. This too can bring its own complications and can be difficult to do, but if you're looking to build on an island, it can be a much smaller area that you need to worry about. Alrighty, there's the info for you on how to block raids from attacking your base. It's challenging to do, not very efficient, and can be very time consuming getting all the things placed correctly, but it is possible. So if you were looking to do that, hopefully this video helped you with it. I appreciate you guys joining me for this video. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.